Well, good morning once again. Welcome to our senior class. And our kindergartners, thanks for being here today. And to all the fantastic parents who've joined us, thank you very much for being here with our ceremony today. You know, USM has an incredible volunteer board who meets regularly to think about the success of our incredible school. And today, to welcome us all, is our board chair, Mr. Steve Guy. Would you welcome him to the podium, please?
Good morning. On behalf of the board, welcome to students, faculty, staff, and parents, especially our new families and new employees, to our opening day ceremony. A special welcome to our class of 2022. In a moment, we will hear from your 6 prefects who will share their perspectives on the word honesty, the common trust tenet for this year. We opened school this year all together again, very much expecting to get back to normal routines, activities, and traditions. At USM, our dedicated educators, administrators, and coaches, in partnership with our parents, support each student's individual journey. Each student's path is unique. Each student has their own abilities, their own passions, and their own dreams. As an institution, we also cherish our independence, ability to make our own decisions, and chart our own destiny. At the same time, each of us, as individuals, are threads woven together to become the tapestry of our great USM community. The USM story has successfully grown day by day, year by year, over generations, on a culture built upon the common trust. We are a diverse community of learners, leaders, and citizens, and we have much to offer one another. And we all accomplish so much more together than we can on our own. Every 10 years or so, USM brings our community together to examine our school, build on our fine history, and map USM's future. This school year, the Board of Trustees will be leading the process to establish USM's next strategic plan. As has been our custom, we will seek the input of everyone in our community, and I encourage all to participate in the process and provide your feedback. Now I'd like to turn it back to Steve Hancock as he begins his second year as head of school. Though he's only been with us for 1 year, he has worked hard to understand what makes USM great and looks forward to building on our success. Have a terrific school year.
Thank you, Mr. Guy. Once again, welcome to the start of a new school year. I've waited for this day for well over a year. Our renewed goal of gathering outside in this beautiful circle, surrounded by students, faculty, and parents, all with the anticipation of something new and exciting. Each school year provides a fresh opportunity for growth, imagination, learning, and friendships. I know you will find all of these opportunities this year at USM. Now, several of you have heard me talk about my first year here at USM. As we all know, last year was an amazing challenge for schools around the world. One of our top priorities was to keep our school in person and learning together, and we did just that. While some students were remote throughout the year, the majority of our students were in person, and we learned how important it is for us to be together. This year, I'm looking forward to meeting more students and parents and alumni of this great school. The distance we had to keep from each other last year has kindled a fire in me to find more ways for us to be together this year. And while it is true that we're still working through protocols to promote health and mitigate risk, we can find a common ground in any topic we tackle. We have a cord that binds us together. This is the reason we find ourselves here at this moment. I hope we never tire about hearing of the common trust. Today marks my 32nd year in schools. The themes of respect, Trust, honesty, fairness, and kindness have never been more important to me than right now. Our world needs the salve of a common trust. We need healing in our world, and I know this change can come about from the youth standing and sitting in front of me today. I have complete confidence that these students, both young and old, can and will lead the way to a better and stronger world where the tenets of the common trust are lived and cherished. It all begins here. USM is a safe place for you to practice each of these ideals that we talk about every day. This year we are highlighting honesty. Seniors, some of you were at honesty ceremonies when you were in 2nd and 7th grade, and you undoubtedly don't remember what was said at each of those openings focused on honesty. But honesty is an ideal that has grown within you. Your integrity is interwoven with your honesty. Today, as the leaders of our great school, your honesty and integrity are on full display for all to see. Literally thousands of eyes are watching your example of how high you set the bar for your school. Now, honesty is one of those topics that can easily get us sidetracked. You see, the opposite of honesty reveals words like deceit or lying or untruthfulness. It's so easy for us to head down those paths. Back in 4th grade, where are our 4th graders today? All right, back in 4th grade, I made a mistake that I remember to this day, 45 years later. I was in Mr. Johnson's class. I loved Mr. Johnson, and he was, in my 9-year-old memory, an awesome teacher. One day, during a spelling test, my eyes wandered to a classmate's paper. I did not know how to spell the word banana. All of those A's and N's just got mixed up in my mind. After class, Mr. Johnson asked me if I had looked at Sarah's paper. In that moment, I had the opportunity to be honest and say yes, but I didn't. I did not tell the truth, and the decision to not be honest caused me a great deal of pain and embarrassment. While I certainly should have been honest from the very moment I was taking that test, every step of dishonesty led me deeper and deeper into a hole that made me feel awful. Finally, after Mr. Johnson and the principal asked me in many creative ways, I came clean and admitted my mistake. However, along the way, my parents and Mr. Johnson, some of my classmates wondered if I was an honest person. I don't blame them because a bit of my integrity left me that day. I learned my lesson and had to rebuild the trust that I had lost from the people I cared so much about. This piece of my honor was so easy to lose and so difficult to earn back. Now, we all know the difference between right and wrong. And this year, I hope you will stretch your honesty muscles and live the common trust each and every day. And now, if you would please welcome students from the middle school who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. To my right, you will see the U.S. flag, and to the left is the flag for the class of 2022. Each time we celebrate the class of 2022, over the next many decades, this flag will fly proudly for you. And now our members of the middle school.
Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Today we hear from our 6 senior prefects who are leaders and role models for our entire school. Their dedication and integrity set the bar high as they represent the senior class and indeed the entire school. They embody the common trust through their leadership, and today they will give their reflections on the word honesty from our common trust. Our first prefect to speak is Bui Chen.
Good morning, ladies and gents. My name is Bui Chen, and I will be speaking to you about honesty. I have always prided myself with my knowledge in the general sciences. Even back in elementary school, I loved showing off this knowledge, but more often than not, I would overstretch myself and talk about stuff that I didn't really understand. You know, the cool stuff like quantum mechanics, relativity, black holes. Now, this didn't seem like a problem at first, since all my elementary school friends were equally ignorant is the word. But as I told and retold my own knockoff versions of theories of the cosmos, it gradually became more and more difficult to know what I had actually read and learned and what I had made up to impress my friends. This unfortunate transgression was suddenly exposed when I had the opportunity to have dinner with an actual scientist, for whom I also performed my usual routine. His response? He loved it. No, he laughed in my face and spent the next 2 hours explaining everything that was wrong with my bootlegged theories, from special relativity to the Fermi paradox. I was extremely embarrassed, but not only that, I was also faced with the giant dripping mess that was my knowledge about space. Fortunately, I was 10 years old and my curiosity did not falter. Knowing the limits of your knowledge will help you build humility and avoid overexerting yourself. This way you can win more friends that stick with you. It is also the best way for you to build up additional knowledge. Finally, if anything, one good look at what is going on in the world right now should yield plenty of evidence of why we all need to know what we simply don't know. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Michael Kennedy, and like everybody else, I'm here to talk about honesty. But first, I'd like to tell a joke about dinosaurs. The T-Rex asked the Stegosaurus, "What's another word for honesty?" Stegosaurus said, "I don't know. Ask Thesaurus." Yeah, sorry about that. I had to start with a joke about honesty I had to start with a joke about dinosaurs because honesty is not something you can joke about. It is, in my opinion, the foundation of all tenets of the common trust. Without honesty, respect, trust, fairness, and kindness are not possible. We must stay honest with ourselves and those around us. In my short time, I want to emphasize the biggest lesson I've ever learned surrounding honesty. Honesty is most important when it's most difficult. Whether that's when you have to give constructive criticism on a classmate's paper, or when you have to tell the truth, despite it not being advantageous for either yourself or someone you care about. This is going to be a great school year, honestly.
Hello, I'm Lexi Lee. Philosophers and authors alike have famously stated the phrase, "Wherever you go, there you are," insinuating that no matter where you go or what you choose to do, the one thing you can never truly escape is yourself. Being a person, but especially an adolescent in today's society, there are many forces that will attempt to morph us into something we are not, to conform. In other words, as we grow up, we become more and more dishonest with ourselves. We put away our toys and our imaginations in search of things supposedly more mature. We shift our interests and our passions to one more professional or realistic. While we are told from a young age that honesty is the best policy, we are taught the opposite. We are taught to tell the truth, but to never speak our truth. While honesty between others is important, the most important value is learning to be honest with yourself. Every so often, take a moment to look in the mirror and genuinely ponder the question, who am I? What is my identity? What are my values, not the values that have been instilled upon me? What are my passions, my hopes, and my dreams? The ones that outside forces may have told us to change because they are seen as unachievable or impractical. Rather than give in to those voices that tell us to be something we are not, it is for the betterment of us all that we speak our truths and learn to love ourselves and others for who we truly are. So, if the famous statement is true, that wherever we go, there we are, we can find peace and happiness by learning to honestly embrace our true selves. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dara Molija, and 5 years ago today, I was standing in this general area listening to speeches about honesty. And I'm happy now to show everyone what I've learned since then. But before that, I'd like to go back to the start of our journeys in school. At 3 years of age is when most humans tell their first lie. For some, this will be one of few. But for others, those lies continue to spill until they become a large web, entangling not only you, but all those around you. Eventually, it can get so bad that you lose the trust of others, lose your own self-credibility, and worst of all, lose sight of yourself. Whereas on the other hand, although cliche, honesty gets you to a free life. It's not just about telling the truth. Rather, it's about being real with yourself and others about who you are and what you need to be authentic. Honesty welcomes a life where you don't have to be inconsistent, nor do you need to lose sight of yourself or your own desires in order to cater to the masses. Even I found myself in such situations, but I've also realized that it was never too late to change. And here's how I suggest doing that. First, be as honest as you can with yourself about your thoughts, actions, words, wants, and aspirations. Then afterwards, analyze your interactions with the world and ask yourself, are you living a free life? And if no, why not? Although I took the generic honesty is the best policy route with this speech, I feel as if, especially with this tenet, simplicity is best, and that saying perfectly describes it. Self-liberation is quite simply just being honest. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Sean Sharma. Our tenet of the Common Trust this year, honesty, is constantly tested in our day-to-day lives. Do you tell your mom that you don't like her new dish? Do you tell your friend that you don't like their new shoes? These examples are all about being honest with other people, but I want to talk about an aspect of honesty that gets often overlooked, being honest with yourself. Many of us are incredibly dishonest with ourselves. What I mean by this is that we often fail to act according to what we truly desire and what would actually be in our best interests because we try to please others. An example of being dishonest with yourself is if you decide to play a sport just because a lot of your friends are playing it, when in actuality you would rather devote your time to a certain club that you're interested in. Why do we do these kinds of things? The reality is that with some basic self-reflection, we can learn to be honest with ourselves and train ourselves to be more conscious about doing things that make us truly happy and also bring us closer to our goals. I encourage all of you to be honest with yourselves and embrace your individuality because you will find yourselves leading a far more fulfilling and satisfied life. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Grace Tuttle. I'm so excited for this school year and especially about our theme of honesty. At a young age, we were taught that in all things we should act honestly. This is not always the easiest choice though. Driving home from the girls' hockey state game last winter, this fundamental teaching was unexpectedly tested. Blowing past a police officer parked by the side of the highway and watching his lights turn on in my rearview mirror, I went into panic mode. As he came to the window and asked me if I knew why I was just pulled over, instead of giving the preferred response of, "No, officer, I'm sorry, I'm not sure why you pulled me over today," I blurted out, "Yes, because I was going well over the speed limit." Now, I can't say I'd planned for those words to come out of my mouth, but in that moment, my reaction was complete and brutal honesty. Now, I'm sure you were all thinking that I went home that night with the massive ticket and a few points off my license, but quite the opposite happened. He gave me a warning, and I believe this was because he appreciated my honesty and respect for his position. Now, I know it's a cliche and everyone tells you it, but honesty is really the best policy. As we go through the school year, I hope you all take that into consideration, and I'm so excited to have an amazing year with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, prefects. And now Mrs. Schuler and members of the 8th grade chorus will lead us in singing of the alma mater. And even though we're outside and many of us are unmasked, we are going to wait to link arms for another day. So if you would please stand with me as we are about to sing the alma mater. Thank you.
At USM, we sing our alma mater to end many celebrations and gatherings, so please join us as we sing together to ring in our new school year.
Praise to thee, our alma mater, here's to blue and gold, singing of our sons and daughters, stalwart, proud, and bold. Hail to thee, hail to thee, University. May we ever stand beside with pride and loyalty.
Thank you for this time together. In a moment, we will dismiss back to classrooms, beginning with our lower school students, followed by our middle and upper school students. Parents, you are invited to the Parents Association reception in front of the preschool entrance. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Mr. Don Forty, who begins his 40th year of service to USM. Yes, that's right, Mr. Forty begins his 40th, and he will now ring the bell to dismiss us to the 2021-22 school year. Thank you, Mr. Forty.